teachers, have you ever been asked by parents, what can I do at home to help support my student as a reader? Well, this episode of Never Stop Learning is just what you need. I've pulled together an activity here that I used in my classroom many times over the years that's perfect for parents to do with their students at home to help support their literacy development. I've just released the companion video to this video lesson that's aimed specifically at parents to introduce this strategy to them and actually show them how to do this strategy with the help of my granddaughter Alice. In order for any literacy activity to fully support the development of readers and writers, it must support these four components: confidence, independence, metacognition, and stamina. CIMS, SIMS, is an acronym coined by my friend and mentor, Dr. Lauren Friedman. As I developed lessons for my classroom over those many years that I was teaching in a classroom, I always asked myself these questions. Number one, how does this activity support and help my students' confidence as readers, writers, thinkers, learners? Number two, how does this activity support my students in becoming more independent learners? Number three, how does this activity support my students' metacognitive growth, their ability to ask themselves questions in their head and monitor their own comprehension while they are actually doing the act of reading? And number four, how does this activity support my students' reading stamina? We want to be developing readers who finish books, who read entire articles, not students who just read a little bit and then give up because they don't have the stamina to keep on going. As they progress through their school career, they are going to encounter more and more sophisticated texts that are longer and longer, and that stamina is key to their success in the future. The strategy I'm sharing with you today meets all the tests for confidence, independence, metacognition, and stamina. It's a strategy I used in my own classroom with students who were not native English speakers. Specifically, I worked with a lot of students who were Burmese, and they came to this country as religious refugees, having no idea even about our alphabet, but possessing some oral language. So this activity was really good for them. They were able to use their oral language to get started on the activity and then practice reading what they already knew how to speak. And it works that way for developing English readers as well. Now, my student today, Alice, my granddaughter, is not a struggling reader. She's a developing reader. So I'm going to be working with her very specifically on developing her vocabulary and working on fluency too. But each step of the way, I'm not going to forget about confidence, independence, metacognition, and stamina.
First, it's going to be the doggy. I love dogs.
So what do you want to write about the dog? You don't have to write about the same thing. Why don't we write about what kind of a day you think this dog has had?
Okay.
So be thinking.
A good day.
Okay, so why don't you read me the story you wrote about Max?
This has been a good day for Max. His owner plays catch with him and takes him on a long walk. When his new blue...
Is it making sense to you?
No.
Okay. So when did it stop making sense?
Like right.
No, you didn't get that far. Okay, you read, this has been a good day for Max. His owner played catch with him and took him on a long walk
with his new blue leash.
Okay, so is it making sense to you now? I'm so glad you realized it wasn't making sense and you stopped, okay? Because so what do we do to help it make sense? We went back, right? And we read it again. Okay, so we're right here with this new blue leash. What does it say? How about the rest of it? That's where you left off. Right here.
Max gets excited when
Is it making sense? Okay, so what do you want to do? You going to keep going?
No.
Okay, what are you going to do?
Restart.
You can restart from the beginning if you want.
This has been a good day for Max. His owner plays catch with him and took him on a long walk with his new blue leash. Max gets excited too when he jumps on his owner's bed. He loves his house.
He loves his house. Is that what it says?
Home.
You wrote it. Okay, he loves his home. How's a home different from a house?
That they don't sound the same?
They don't sound the same. They're not spelled the same. But I'm talking about what they mean. Does a house have to have people living in it to be a house? No, it can be a house without anybody there. But does a home need people to be a home?
Yes.
Okay, so you see the difference? Good. Okay, so you've got 2 stories here that you've developed. You did part of the writing. You did a lot of the talking and thinking. So what did you learn from doing these 2 stories?
That they both had a good day.
Okay. What did you learn about reading or writing by doing these 2 stories?
That they both need care.
What did you learn as a reader or a writer about reading these stories or writing these stories? I'm not talking about the cat or the dog. I'm talking about you. Did you learn anything new about reading?
Yes.
What? What?
Independent?
Oh, you learned the new word independent. You learned how to read it. Did you hear the word before?
No.
Yes, you did. Did you hear the word before?
No.
Yes, you did. Say you did. Say you did. Okay, sit up here. So, had you heard the word independent before?
Yes.
But had you ever read it before?
No.
So can you read it now?
Yes.
Good. We're done, girl. We're done. Probably the main way that this strategy is supporting Alice's confidence is because we talk over what's going on in the story. We look at the picture, try to talk over what's going on before anything ever gets written down. This is so important to developing confident writers. The student needs to be confident in trying out more and more sophisticated vocabulary because often kids would use vocabulary in their conversation or discussion that they wouldn't dare to try to write down. So the great thing about this strategy is that the helper, whether it's the parent or maybe even another student in school, writes the story down for the student, therefore kind of freeing the student to use whatever vocabulary he or she wants to use. And that helps a lot to bolster their confidence. Don't forget that students can more easily figure out a new word they encounter in text if they're already familiar with it from oral language. This strategy also supports Alice's independence as a learner, as a reader, as a writer, as a thinker. In this case, she gets to choose the picture she's going to use in the activity, make up the story, and she gets to choose what gets written down. She also chooses what she writes in her own piece that she adds at the end of the story. Choice is a very important element when it comes to developing readers who have confidence in themselves. This activity also supports Alice's developing metacognition. In this activity, the parent models and articulates the metacognitive process that's going on in his or her own head as she's writing things down for the student. Modeling is such an important activity for students in helping them learn. This strategy starts out small with only one story, but over time, as more and more stories are developed and the student goes back and reads maybe 2 or 3 of his or her previous stories each day, stamina as a reader is supported. So teachers, if you're thinking about implementing this strategy in your classroom for a few students who are struggling readers, consider working with them one-on-one using the same strategy when other students are completing independent work or maybe silent reading. This is probably the best activity that I can think of to offer up for parents who come to conferences and say, well, but what can I do at home? And this works well even if you've got a student who's doing really well in class. There's nothing more uncomfortable than feeling like you really don't have anything to give to a parent just because their students are doing well. This is an activity that can benefit readers no matter what their level, because readers always need to increase their vocabulary and work on stamina. So what I've done is made available for you a little handbook describing this strategy and showing a couple of examples, and including a handout that you can give to parents either at conferences, maybe before the summer begins, maybe at the beginning of the school year, so that your parents can implement this at home. I've made this available to you free, and there is a link below in the description that you can click on to get that free handout. If this is your first time at the Never Stop Learning channel, please consider subscribing. There's a button right over here in the corner you can press anytime to subscribe, and then click on the notification bell. In the future, you will be notified directly as soon as I upload a new video. If you have teacher friends who could use this information, why not share the video? I'd love to see some of your comments down below concerning what you tell parents to have their students do at home to help support their reading and writing development. I'm so glad that you came and viewed this video today. I hope it was really helpful for you, because I want you and your students to never stop learning.